Hey to the most amazing nurses. It is Dr. V here with Morning Infusion with Dr. V podcast, where we are intentional about teaching nurses how to work from anywhere around the world, making money and owning your own time, building profitable nurse coaching and consulting businesses. You will hear from amazing guests that have grown their companies and want to share insight into how you can do the same to change the face of healthcare as we know it. If you want to grow your businesses and leverage your knowledge as a nurse to grow wildly successful businesses at the top, instead of working your way to the top, head on over and join our Millionaire Nurse CEO group on Facebook, where you can ask questions and get updates on our live and virtual events to help you grow your businesses. Good morning. So we have with us today Dr. Allison Bethune. So super excited to have you. And so I want to ask, just give us a brief bio. Like, tell us who you are.
Well, I'm Dr. Allison Bethune. To my family, I'm either Mama, Nana, or just Allison. I've been a nurse for almost 30 years. The majority of my career, well, half of it was at the bedside. I was an ED nurse. I did other things. And I've been in academia for the last half of my nursing career. I'm also an author. I wrote a book called The Other Side of Adorable, which is my personal journey of trying to parent. Notice I said parent and not raise adult children. And I have 3 beautiful adult children, 4 gorgeous grandbabies. And if you have grandbabies, you know they supersede the children in the hierarchy. And I'm married to one amazing man, and we just celebrated 24 years of marriage. I'm a Phoenix transplant, but I am originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay. I had we were just at Speaking Ready Cash, and one of the speakers, she was from Kenosha, and I was like, I don't know where that's at. I don't know where that's at.
It's Kenosha.
Okay, well,
and it is south of Milwaukee. I can't give you the correct miles, but it's like Milwaukee, Racine, Kenosha, and then Pleasant Prairie and all that. Then you're entering Illinois. So that much I do remember.
I love it. Okay, so now let's start, because we always start with how you even became a nurse. Why did you even want to become a nurse? Or did you want to become a nurse and you just dropped into it, kind of like I did?
I did not want to become a nurse, actually.
Okay, so tell us about that.
Once upon a time, when you're naive and in high school, you have all these big, lofty goals and dreams. Some people are able to achieve them, but everybody has their own path. And my faith tells me that your days are written even before you get here. So I wanted to, my first attempt in college at 17, I was a pre-med major. Then life happened and I found myself being a mommy. And I was like, I need to get back in school because these children did not ask to be here, but I need to provide for them how I was provided for. I knew pre-med was not an option because it's too much time away from my children, and they were my responsibility. So then I went back to college to be an English teacher until I realized I don't like kids like that. I have my own. I love my babies, and I'm always the favorite mom of all the friends. But no, that's not my ministry. And my counselor advisor, he was like, well, "What about nursing?" I said, "How long is it gonna take?" And he told me. I said, "Ain't nobody calling me in the middle of the night." He said, "No," and the rest is history. I got to marry both worlds. My vision, my dream, and which is something I tell my children. A dream can be not denied but changed, and you still achieve it what you thought, but it's even better than what you could have imagined. And that's what nursing has been for me, better than what I could imagine.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I was dropped into nursing as well, but that's another story for another day. Okay.
Okay.
so, so now tell me what made you, because you got your doctorate. So what do you have? A EDD, PhD, or DND?
EDD.
EDD. Okay.
Yes.
So what made you get to that pinnacle, or even want to get to that pinnacle?
I am a nerd at heart. Like, I love to learn. I love to be challenged. And not only that, but in nursing, not too many people look like me. Not too many people look like you.
Mm.
And being an independent nurse educator for about 9 years, I noticed that we were missing from, academia, whether at the master's level, most definitely at the doctorate. That's a unicorn. And I'm like, I need to show women and men of color that you can do this. Like, you can get to where you want to be. Was it easy? Absolutely not. Did I want to quit like 15 times? But my family was like, no, you can do this. Like, my husband was like, you're not quitting. If I got to pull you across. And one time I was like, well, start typing, boo, because I'm over it. Go ahead. Pick whatever you put, I'm okay with, because that's where I was. But I'm very glad that I did it, because every time I step in my classroom now, I can see the eyes light up. I can see that they're like, okay, if she did it, I can do it. They know that I'm a safe space for them. I'm literally the only person in our faculty that's this color. Well, not now. Just, we have another one. She just started on the 1st. But for them to see us and know that, okay, if I see it, I believe it, I can achieve it, I can do it, and it touch us and know that it's real. That is why.
That's a valid point. I was just having a conversation with one of my friends, and one of the things that she talked about, that I talked about with her, so she actually is pretty accomplished. And one of the things that she said to me was that a lot of people reach out to her all the time for money, right? And I said, this is one thing that I have seen my clients sometimes, they will say, well, when I start posting online and I start posting my wins, then people start reaching out to me for money. I said, one of the things that I think representation is absolutely everything. And when we become successful in business or whatever we're doing, we need to have that representation, because a lot of people are like, well, there are people that are walking around here and they don't show that, they may have a little bit of money. But I think as Black women, we almost have an obligation to it. And the reason why is because what happens is, I believe I can do it then, because it wasn't until I found out that Oprah was a billionaire that I even thought that I could even achieve something like that. Now, I always had those, what I call red light statements, right? Mm-hmm. I can't do it because my parents didn't graduate from high school. I can't do it because I'm an African American female, right? I can't do those things. I don't care how many degrees I have. And so it's increasingly important that you do have that representation. But I told her, I said, let me tell you something. Loaning people money is not my ministry. Okay. All right. That's the bank's ministry. All right. I'm not the one. I said, I will teach you how to fish, but I'm not fishing for you, because I do not want to enable you to be powerless. I want to empower you to be powerful. And so without that, if you want me, and people come to me sometimes and they ask me for money, but by the time they finish with me, they ain't coming back the second time. I promise you. They ain't coming back, because I had this one person that came to me and I said, I will teach you how to fish. I will give you this money. There's a lot of time in which you need to get the money back to me. I said, and when you get the money, if you don't give back by that time, and if you never ask me how to fish, then you can never borrow any money from me again. She missed the deadline. She never asked me how to fish. So she won't ever be able to get any money. She's never asked. She understands. So it's important for us to have that representation. I don't care where it is, across the board. So I'm super, super excited about the fact that you decided that, okay, when, those African-American students walk into your classroom, they're like, okay, I see it. I can believe it now. I can absolutely do it. So that's really, really good. So now let's talk about this book. Okay. Because you wrote a book. Now, when did you write the book?
I actually wrote the book in 2018, and I am so bad. Like, the book is literally over there, and I'm like, why didn't you bring it over here? But
So
okay.
tell us about the book. Tell us about it.
Well, it started as a blog because when my children like 17, 18, what are they now? 34, 33, and 26. Um, I was like, what's happening? Like, this cannot be real life. Like, who are you? Who who taught you this? Like, they swear nothing. Like, we taught them absolutely nothing. I knew I was in trouble when the baby boy, the middle, I went to open him a Roth IRA. My parents never opened a Roth IRA for me. I didn't find out what a Roth was till I was grown. Um, and I said, well, how much do you have in your account? He said -5. I was like, ooh. And our insurance lady, she was like, do you need a moment? I said, mm-hmm. She said, I said, only call the police if you hear screaming. She said, okay. And I was like, what is wrong with you? Well, like, he had a student checking account. He kept swiping because they kept paying it. And I was like, how many times have we told you, you don't spend money unless you have the money? Well, my friend, I'm not your friend's mama. You know, that don't work on me. So I was like, this is only going to get worse. And so he's 33 and he's really just now understanding all those seeds that were sown way back when. And it taught me how to let them really stop, drop, and hit the ground and roll, get some little road rash on them before I jump in. Mm-hmm. And other moms was like, oh, it's not me. It's not me. No, it's not you. But we have a part in it. We created what we see. I created them spoiled monsters. I sure did. Why? Because I wanted them to have what I didn't have, not to struggle the way that I struggled. I had guilt because I had them at 19 and 21. So why would I not, I didn't want them to be what society said they was going to be.
And that is a huge struggle when it comes to ensuring, because generational wealth is not as easy as most people believe it is, because a lot of times our children do have it a lot easier than what we did when we were growing up. And one thing that I do know is that I would be horrible. I would be a horrible person, okay? Had it not been for the fact that I had to scrape and scratch to get where I'm at, right? Right. I am fairly sure of that. And so because of that, I'm very intentional about that. And so what other things that you talk about in the book? And what is the name of the book, by the way?
The name of the book is The Other Side of Adorable. And it has a locket on the cover with my babies were small and then them as an adult, because we talk about, oh, they're so adorable. There's a whole nother side to that when they grow up and you don't know nothing and you ain't never been through nothing. And, you can't tell, it was different. And, and I'm just looking at them like, okay, all right. But my altar baby, which is my oldest, because, you have that oldest, that's, if you're the firstborn, you already know, you're the golden child. You have all these hopes and dreams. Baby, when I say that boy took me through, but he was struggling to find out who he is. And, thinking that the things that we had for him was denying him of something when it really was not. It was trying to keep him from the struggles. And we had a conversation, I want to say last Christmas, and he was like, I wanted my mom. I said, I was always there. I said, but if I had been the mom that you wanted me to be, you wouldn't be the man that you are. Right. And how I knew he got it, he said, Mom, facts. And that's why I love you. Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right, I didn't do such a bad job. But it's hard.
It is hard to see them go through the transition because they're seeds.
We're putting them in the ground. And as they're growing, that unbudding is so, so difficult to see. And sometimes you just got to step back. You just got to watch it happen. You can't, because, I've told you, I've explained to you what's good, bad, indifferent. I've helped you. I've tried to help you get through this. I'm now going to step back, and even my child, I mean, neither one of them really, they don't borrow money from me. And that's the reason why I don't rely on other people to borrow money from me. 'Cause I'm like, but children don't even borrow money from me. What are you talking about? Now they will go out to dinner and act like they done forgot their wallet for sure. But other than that, they don't borrow money from me. And so it's important for us to be those parents, because there was this one young lady, she passed away, massive heart attack, was a nurse. Okay. Her children, she had taken care of her children's children. Okay. She had also been like one of those people who had given them a lot of money. So not only, this is what people have to understand, not only do they have to deal with the loss of you, they also have to deal with the loss of all those things that they now don't have. And then they have to cope with life and cope with losing you. And that you are doing them a disservice when you do an overdue for them. So it is definitely not something that we're going to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to another commercial break. And then what we're going to do is we're going to talk about your business.
Hey to the most amazing nurses. It is Dr. V here with Morning Infusion with Dr. V podcast, where we are intentional about teaching nurses how to work from anywhere around the world, making money and owning your own time, building profitable nurse coaching and consulting businesses. You will hear from amazing guests that have grown their companies and want to share insight into how you can do the same to change the face of healthcare as we know it. If you want to grow your businesses and leverage your knowledge as a nurse to grow wildly successful businesses at the top, instead of working your way to the top, head on over and join our Millionaire Nurse CEO group on Facebook, where you can ask questions and get updates on our live and virtual events to help you grow your businesses.
Okay, so tell me, let's talk about your business. Now, your business, why did you even start the business? Let's start there.
It's kind of an offshoot of my dissertation. It's like, how do we get Black nurses in academia? Is it because they don't know? Is it because they've heard horror stories? Is it because they don't understand the process? Like, where do you start? Like, there's several different areas that you can enter. And if you don't want your doctorate, that's fine. But just to get you in, like get your foot in the door. And then I realized that this is tiring. So how do we not only help them understand what it means to be in academia, because bedside nursing is different from academia. The language is different. The speak is different. The presentation is different. But how do you also help reset from being there? And so I had a conversation with some good goal friends of mine, and they said, why don't you do a retreat too? And I said, oh. And they're like, what is it? She literally asked me, what is it like going to work every day? I said, it's like wearing a mask every day. It's like wearing a mask. And she said, well, what do you want to do? Unmask. And she said, that's your retreat. Unmask. Just go. How? Like, we had the, off-camera conversation about hair. So I can't wait to see what happens when, me and little Beyonce show up today, because it didn't look like that yesterday. Like, it's a wig, y'all. Calm down. It's okay. I have hair. It's all right. Or when, a Caucasian female coworker, because that's all you see mainly in academia, you know, they can. But if I pop back, which I literally told my assistant dean, I said, you know what? If I respond how she responded, I'll become the stereotypical Black woman.
Mm-hmm.
I said, so you don't understand the song and dance that I have to do every single day that I come in here when people push my buttons. Mm-hmm. And she just kind of sat there and put her head down. Them buttons, one day it ain't gonna pop back. It's not gonna pop back. But again, that mask, like I always have to rise above, because that one moment that I do not, it's the see, I told you, see, I knew. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot. It's heavy. It's what it said, heavy is the head that wears the crown. It's heavy. So that is where I want to not only help Black nurses who want to become academics, but help y'all relax and unmask. Wear your braids, wear your twists, wear your puffs, whatever you want to do, the things that are frowned upon, because the standard wasn't set for us. It wasn't set by us. And we're tired. We're tired. And it's okay.
I think that's a hugely valid point. You know, I remember being in corporate America, and it was the young lady that I last had to deal with. It was interesting because we were having a conversation. Now, mind you, I worked in the ED for 15 years. And I worked in this local ED, and I worked in another local ED about 30 miles away. And so I knew the rules of the ED, like back of my hand. Like I could recite the rules of the ED because I've been there for so long, right? The average life of an ED nurse is about 5 years. I've been there for 15, right? And we were having this conversation. She was arguing me down about one of those rules, right? And I was like, and I just looked at her, and she said, and she finally came to me. I said, she was like, "Are you upset? You have no idea." I said, but what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to argue you. You're not going to upset my peace when I know that I'm right. Like if you come to me and you tell me my hair is green, my hair is black, and so I'm not going to argue with you what I know is already fact, right? And so I think that one of the things that we have to do as African-American females is be very intentional about knowing what the truth is, standing with the truth, not really caring about what other people think. And that is the thing that I had to overcome. You have to overcome that as a business owner for sure, because you cannot care about what other people think. When you care about what other people think, then that tears your whole business process down, right? But I could care less about what other people think. I can't. First of all, I love you, Dr. Allison Bethune, but I can't be in your head figuring out what you got going on. I can only be in Viola's head, right? And so because I can only be in my head and understanding what's going on in my head, I need to get my thoughts straight. And hopefully you will align with me. And if not, then we can have a conversation and we can maybe transition. But at the same time, I'm not going to get upset with you because a soft answer turns away wrath. Okay, that's Proverbs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Proverbs 17:28, and I don't forgot what exactly it says, but this is my interpretation, okay? So you think whatever you're going to think. This is the Viola-ism from the Proverbs. It says to shut your mouth, okay, and be thoughtful, and to open your mouth and remove all doubt.
That's it. That's it right there.
So tell me, how long have you been in business?
Actually, we're still in the infancy stages. I am learning what it means to rest. And I think a lot of us as Black women need to understand it's not taking a break. It's like literally resting your body, your mind, your soul, and your spirit. Giving yourself permission to, I don't know where this cape came from. I don't know if it was handed down generation to generation. Take it off. Don't even take it to the dry cleaners. Ball it up and put it in the trash. Like literally my health was starting to be affected. Like I was stressed out. And so again, that's another thing that was like, we need to rest. So taking those things that I'm learning in this season of rest and permission, what I mean by permission, giving yourself permission not to be all things for all people, giving yourself permission to pursue what it is that you want to do, giving yourself permission to not allow other people to dictate how you move, how you think, and what you're going to do. Here I am, almost 55 years old, and I'm just now learning that. So if I can save someone that's 20 or 30 years younger than me from waiting to get to this age to do that, then that's what I'm going to do. So I'm being very intentional about how I'm planning this and how I want to roll it out, because I only got one shot. And I've owned, businesses before, they were successful, but I want this to be my legacy. I want this to outlast me. So when it is all ready to go and packaged out, most definitely you will be the first person to know. I do believe the retreat will be in 2024. I'm trying to decide, looking at the academic calendar, what's the best time? Is it spring or is it summer? And so that's the very first thing that I will be working on, and will have an answer in the next 3 months for sure.
Good. And so how many people are you anticipating coming to the retreat?
At least 15 women, 15. I want them to have an experience that they like, literally unmasking. I already have someone in line to help us do that. It's to go through the exercise of how to unmask, and then how to get back in touch with your feelings, to be rejuvenated. Go to the spa, go sit in the ocean is my happy place. I can just sit and watch the waves and have a nice adult beverage in my hand, and I can sit there for 3 or 4 hours. Do those things that you've always wanted to do, but you're on this merry-go-round, whether you're non-tenured or whether you're trying to achieve tenure. And that's a whole nother episode in and of itself. But just giving you the permission that you do not give yourself. Unmask, relax, and just be you. Be Allison, be Viola. Take the doctor off. Take all them 15,000 letters behind our names. Take that away and just be you. What Jennifer Lopez, Jenny from the block. Just be you. Like who you before you became doctor or whatever you are. Get back to you.
I love it. Well, this has been an amazing conversation. And so tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on my website, AllisonRBethune.com. Don't be shy, because it's got everything about my book on there. But that's where you can find me. We're getting ready to transition that into this whole unmasking thing, but that's where you can find me.
I love it. Well, we do have our master class coming up November 14th. It's going to be free unless you want to sign up for VIP. From 5 until 8. We also have a year-long planning that we have that's coming up at the beginning of the year, but it's going to be on sale for Black Friday. So go to our website at vpnursing.com and take a look. It's going to be absolutely amazing. There's so many things about how I was able to go from $0 pretty much to a 6-figure year. And so we will tell you all those things. We will let all the secrets out. Anyway, it has been an amazing time. And thank you, Dr. Bethune, for joining us.
Thank you, Dr.